jáde èmi ó san fún ọ ohunkóhun tó o bá ná fún àkáǹtì mi rè chẹ́ẹ̀kì ní ìgbà ń bá padà dé màá san ó mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ tọ́jú ẹ̀ ní tí wọ́n ń pè lẹ́yọ̀nú nìyẹn nǹkan méje ni ẹ̀yọ̀nú túmọ̀ sí ẹ jẹ́ mọ́ ọ lọ nígbà tó bá dọ̀la màá síde ohun tí mo pè ní ẹ̀yọ̀nú látọ̀run mo mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ ka ẹsẹ̀ gígùn yìí fún ọmọdé àti àgbà kó o lè mọ̀ pé títí dọ̀la ẹ̀yọ̀nú Ọlọ́run sì wà má jẹ́ kí ẹnikẹ́ni ó tàn ọ́ jẹ kì í ṣe gbogbo èèyàn ló ní lórí bí n bá gbọ́ tó di ọwọ́ méjèèjì mórí ibi tí àwọn kan dé tí wọ́n dájú wọn nínú oṣù keje yìí tó o bá débẹ̀ wọ́n á ṣílẹ̀kùn fún ọ sáà ẹnìkan ni wọ́n ń pè ní aláàánú Samaria òun ní ìpẹ̀kun ẹ̀yọ́nú òun ní Jésù ọjọ́ tó bọ́ bá ṣe pọ̀ tó nú ayé rẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ̀yọ́nú ó ṣe pọ̀ tó òun ló fi gbọ́dọ̀ gbà á gbọ́ bá dọ̀la màmá gbé oríṣiríṣi àwọn testimony along this line mi ò lè gbé testimony báyìí torí táìmù mi ti pé mò ń lọ sórí Facebook tó bá ti di 12 YouTube and TikTok pẹ̀lú candle yóò pé ọjọ́ kejì watermelon àti ẹyin òun láfi break ìgbà bá ń bọ̀ ní chọ́ọ̀chì ní ọ̀la àtọmọdé àtàgbà láwà ọ̀sán mẹ́ta àti ẹyin ọ̀kan ìyẹn nítọ̀la ẹ máa gbọ́ ọ́lẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ń dé mọ́ gbogbo bí tẹ́ ẹ bá ti ń gbọ́ mi ìjọ tó o bá ti dá Jésù mọ̀ o ni wọ́n pilẹ̀ ẹ̀yọ́nú nínú ayé rẹ̀ tó o bá mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ ṣáájò ayé ájò láti wá ẹ̀yọ́nú gbogbo bí wọ́n yọ́nú sí ọdẹ wọn ò ti bá ọ jáde àṣírí ni mò ń bọ̀ lọ́la mo mọ ẹ̀yọ́nú kan tí kì í lànà inú Kristi ló wà á sọ púpọ̀ ẹ̀ mo tó gbé nǹkan míì dé lónìí kẹnukẹ gbogbo lé ẹ̀yin wo lẹ fẹ́ san rẹ májẹ̀mú yín ká tún fi tẹ̀síwájú lọ́la ẹ̀yin wo lẹ mọ̀ fẹ́ san ìdá mẹ́wàá tàbí ọrẹ àdúrà mi gbà account number rẹ báwa dá sí ká tún fi ṣe tọ́la 2017 42 90 47 ọrẹ májẹ̀mú bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti 1000 lọ sókè tí àwọn apostle la wà Heart of Apostle chapter 13 títí wọ 18 láti orí kẹtàlá títí wọ orí kejìdínlógún 13 tó 18 gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ Ọlọ́run tí wọ́n bí lónìí on the 2nd July láti ìsìn lọ́ba ìkọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wá ọ káàkiri ìgbélórí sókè tó kọjá òye rẹ mo ní kó dé bá yín lójijì in the name of Jesus kó tó dìwòye ọdún tí ń bọ̀ ó ti ṣe testimony mi ẹ wo nọ́mbà yìí ẹ jẹ́ ọ́ loud kò ní ti kó sì clear 081 ẹ tẹ 6 mẹ́ta àti 7 kan 34 43 kí n tó wí 081 6 mẹ́ta àti 7 kan 34 43 ọ̀dà.
Glow FM 99.1 Akure. Ẹ̀wẹ̀nu lẹ̀kẹ́ ẹ̀wẹ̀nu ọkọ́ torí yín la ṣe wà.
No other sound beats this. From dusk till dawn, we are the people's voice. Keep it locked on Glow 99.
Too fast-paced, too boring, too deep. Could be exhausted, right? But with a dip of something new, living comes alive. Let's illuminate your corner. We are Glow 99.1 FM, Akure, your station, your voice.
It is a beautiful morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Glow 99.1 FM. This is the second day in the second half of the year 2024. Thank you so much for being part of our line of transmissions again this morning. This is Issues in the Dailies. My name is Femi Emmanuel, my colleague.
Of course, it is a very wonderful morning, and we are so glad that you join us again today. My name is Miracle Ogunde.
All right, we have come to bring you the latest stories from the dailies today. And with me, I have the Punch, the Vanguard, the Daily Post, the Leadership newspaper, and the Premium Times.
Okay, I've got the Daily Post, the Guardian, the Vanguard, the Nation, and the Daily Trust newspapers here with me.
All right, shortly, we'll bring you the headlines from these dailies. Stay with us.
And starting with the Daily Post newspaper this morning, Tinubu needs world cabinet to save Nigerian economy, Labour Party chieftain Eze says.
Coming from the Daily Post newspaper too, I have these. You won't return to Senate in 2027. Wike threatens FCT Senator Kingibe.
And still on Wike story, FCT Wike fumes over allocation of land meant for bus terminal to politicians. Still in the Daily Post newspaper.
And looking at the Punch newspaper, I have these. Dangote fuel marketers fear high-priced petrol ahead of supply.
And still looking at the Daily Post newspaper, Kano Emirates Group asks US to impose visa ban on Governor Yusuf. Others still in the Daily Post newspaper.
From the Punch, power tariff hike, GMD laments as 8 Bono private hospitals shut down.
And from the Guardian newspaper, Nigerian police wasn't established to succeed, Senate leader says.
From the Vanguard, economic crisis, slump in port operations put 40,000 jobs at risk. Investigation.
FG ignores ASU to inaugurate Facilities Governing Council. Still in the Guardian newspaper.
From the Vanguard, I have this 2024 Hajj. How FG 8 states splashed 100.6 billion naira on pilgrims.
And also in the Guardian newspaper, court dismisses Kano's 1 billion naira right violation suit against DSS.
Okay, from the Vanguard, I have Naira rises to 1,510 Naira per dollar in parallel market.
And looking at the Vanguard newspaper, Edo poll INEC assures hitch-free election.
Many feared trapped as a 4-story building collapses in Abuja. From Vanguard.
An economic crisis slump in port operations put 40,000 jobs at risk, ESI's investigation. Still looking at the Vanguard newspaper.
Looking through the Nation newspaper, Southwest states firm up food production program. From the Nation.
And joining you in the Nation newspaper, death toll in Gaza blast rises to 32.
And on the sad note, from the Nation, 25 die, 53 sustained injuries in Kano auto crash.
And nav unmanned area vehicle, not helicopter, crashed in Kaduna. Still in the Nation newspaper.
Checking the Leadership newspaper, I have these from Leadership newspaper. Electricity disconnection ministers.
And also in the Nation newspaper, why INEC can't take over conduct of council polls by Yakubu.
Okay, checking the Premium Times. State House management rewards staff for dedication to duty.
And from the Daily Trust newspaper, you won't return to Senate, Wike DS Ireti Kingibe.
Okay, so all these and more we'll take today on Dailies. Stay with us, we'll be back shortly.
Welcome back. Glad to know you're still there. Now let's begin with the Daily Post newspaper with this first story. Tinubu needs world cabinet to save Nigerian economy. Labour Party chieftain Eze. The president of the Ebonyi Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Dr. Emmanuel Eze, has urged President Bola Tinubu to rejig his cabinet to save the Nigerian economy and unite the country. Speaking with journalists in Enugu on Monday, Eze, who is a chieftain of the Labour Party, stated that Tinubu's administration has been suffering from announcement effect due to the unplanned and sudden removal of petrol subsidy, which stumbled an already fragile economy. According to Eze, the current president in effort to fulfill that promise. However, it's essential to reflect on the lessons we've learned from waiting for competence to emerge. We spent 8 years waiting for Buhari's tenure to end, only to find ourselves facing an even deeper nightmare. Tinubu needs work cabinet to save Nigerian economy, Labour Party chieftain exercise. You can get details in the Daily Post newspaper.
And staying with the Daily Post, Shatima donates to bomb blast victims in Maiduguri. Vice President Kashim Shatima paid a condolence visit to the victims and families who lost their members in the suicide bombings in Goza, Borno State on Saturday. Hell was a female detonated bombs in a wedding ceremony and killed over 30 persons and injured many others. Shatima, while on the condolence visit, described the incident as pathetic. Speaking with journalists immediately after meeting with victims of the attack at the State Specialist Hospital Maiduguri, the number 2 citizen conveyed the condolences of President Bola Tinubu to the Borno State government and people of Goza. The Vice President later made a personal donation to all the victims of the attack and condoled with the families of those killed by the multiple explosions, saying the heart of the President is with them. He said, and I quote, "The heart of President Bola Tinubu is with the victims, and he specifically instructed us to come and offer our condolences and commiserations to the victims of this incident. We are here with the Director General of NEMA, with the Minister of Agriculture, with the Minister of Transportation, and of course the Chief Whip of the Senate, a son of the soil from Goza, who was here since yesterday, and the acting governor. They have been working around the clock to provide succor and support to the victim," Shatima stated. You can get details of this story from Daily Post. Shatima donates to bomb blast victims in Maiduguri.
And still reading from the Daily Post newspaper, Edo Guba, we will conduct hitch-free election, INEC says. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has restated its commitment to conducting hitch-free polls in the forthcoming Edo governorship election. INEC National Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu stated this, assuring Nigerians that the Commission will continue to push the boundaries of credible and inclusive elections. While answering questions from newsmen during the formal introduction of 10 new resident electoral commissioners RECs in Lagos, Yakubu reacted to the flaw that affected INEC's office in Edo State, promising Nigerians that the election would be hitch-free. Yakubu said, and I quote, "Although we had an unfortunate flooding in our office in Edo State, over 4,000 machines were affected, but we deployed our technical staff and we have already recovered over 3,500 machines. Edo Guba, we will conduct hitch-free election, INEC." You can get details in the Daily Post newspaper.
Senator Kingibe seeks legislative backing for women inclusion in governance from Daily Post. Federal Capital Territory FCT Senator Ireti Kingibe has emphasized the need for new legislation in Nigeria to ensure the inclusion of women in governance. Speaking as a guest on Arise TV on Sunday, Kingibe highlighted that countries with women in governance demonstrate a direct correlation between economic development and women's participation in policy and decision making. She said, and I quote, "In the parties, let me give you an example. When they ask for 3 delegates from each ward, they will just bring male delegates. Immediately, the parties say 3 delegates for each ward, but one must be a woman. They will start to bring in the women. I'm not trying to say that we are law-abiding, but it would help if it was the law, number one. Then it means that the onus will be on the parties, government agencies, whatever, to look for competent women, do you understand, and they are there." Addressing the notion that women do not support each other in the elections, Kingibe stated that this is a thing of the past, noting that there is now greater awareness among women. She revealed our efforts to create a database of women across the country to use women voters as lobbying bloc. Okay, so you can get details of that story from Daily Post. Senator Kingibe seeks legislative backing for women inclusion in governance.
And now taking a look at the Guardian newspaper, Nigerian police wasn't established to succeed, Senate leader says. With the rider fought multiplicity of security outfits without legal framework. Amid the increasing demand for an efficient and responsive police system, leader of the Senate, Okpeyemi Bamidele, APC Ekiti Central, has lamented the dysfunctionality of the Nigerian Police Force, NPF, pointing out that as currently constituted, it was not meant to succeed. The Vice Chairman, Senate Committee on Review of the 1999 Constitution further observed that any police structure that did not reflect Nigeria's federal realities would not effectively address security challenges facing the Federation. He made these remarks at the 2024 Distinguished Personality Lecture Series, jointly organized by the Department of Political Science and Institute of Legislative Studies, University of Ilorin, Kwara State, yesterday. Bamidele dissected diverse socio-economic and political forces responsible for the dysfunctionality of the Nigerian police system and provided solutions, while warning against the incessant deployment of armed forces without compliance with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution. The senator faulted the undue establishment and operations of vigilante groups and security outfits at the state levels without a national legal framework. You can get details in the Guardian newspaper with the headline, Nigerian police wasn't established to succeed, Senate leader says.
Ex-NSA Dazuki paid Fayose 1.2 billion naira cash to avoid traces, witness from Daily Post. A Lagos Federal High Court heard on Monday our former National Security Advisor, NSA, Sambo Dazuki, paid ex-Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose 1.2 billion naira in cash. A former investigative officer of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abubakar Madaki, said Dazuki paid the money to Fayose in cash to disguise the source and eliminate all forms of traces. Madaki told Justice Chukwujeku Aneke that this was discovered during an EFCC investigation. Madaki said EFCC discovered that the fund was from the Dasuki's office and was budgeted to procure arms, contrary to claims that the money was a presidential campaign fund. EFCC had dragged Fayose and his company, Spotless Investment Limited, before the judge on an 11-count charge of criminal breach of trust, theft, and stealing of public funds. The anti-graft agency alleged that Fayose and one Abiodun Agbele, who is also standing trial on alleged money laundering offences before another division of the court, took possession of 1.219 billion naira on June the 17th, 2004, to fund his 2014 governorship campaign in Ekiti State. At the resumed hearing of the matter on Monday, Madaki, the 13th prosecution witness, told the court that Fayose did not personally make any financial transactions relevant to the charge before the court. The judge adjourned the trial to July the 19th. For details, check Daily Post newspaper. Ex-NSA Dazuki paid Fayose 1.2 billion naira cash to avoid traces, witness.
And still reading from the Guardian newspaper, FG ignores ASU to inaugurate Facilities Governing Councils. The federal government has confirmed July 4, 2024 as the inauguration date of governing councils for federal universities and polytechnics, among others, ignoring the Academic Staff Union of Universities Unions ASU rejection of the idea. Namdi Umbairi, the permanent secretary general, said consent has been granted for the proper administration of Nigerian tertiary institutions across the country. However, Emmanuel Oshodeke, the president of ASU, has frowned at the government's approach and described it as a troubling pattern in the appointment process. Oshodeke said, and I quote, the new council members are primarily retired politicians rather than academic or professionals in relevant disciplines. He noted, ASU had earlier kicked against the appointment of new governing councils in the federal institutions of higher learning, saying it was illegal to ASU to inaugurate Facilities Governing Councils. You can read for details in the Guardian newspaper.
Okay, I take this story from the Vanguard. Many fear trapped as four-story building collapses in Abuja. Many people were reportedly trapped when a four-story building in the Gaki area of the Federal Capital Territory collapsed on Monday night. An eyewitness told newsmen there is a possibility that there could be some people inside the collapsed building who may have died. I saw two people being pulled out from the rubble now and taken to the hospital while rescue operations were ongoing. The emergency responders are not coordinated yet for efficient operations, he said. Okay, so details of that story can be seen from Vanguard. Many fear trapped as four-story building collapses in Abuja.
And now joining you in the Vanguard newspaper, Tinubu governors lack will to fight hardship. Osun Muslim community. The Osun State Muslim community has disclosed that both the President Bola Tinubu-led federal government and the 36 state governors lack the political will to stem the tide of hardship across the country. Speaking at a press conference to herald activities to commemorate the 144th Hijra at the Muslim Community Secretariat in Oshogbo, the group's president, Sheikh Mustafa Ajishafe, said political leaders in the country have not commitment towards addressing the present situation. He said the present situation demands aggressive agricultural revolution across the state, especially in the southwest, where massive agriculture. Tinubu governors lack will to fight hardship or show Muslim community. You can get details in the Vanguard newspaper.
From Daily Post, you won't return to Senate in 2027. Wike threatens FCT Senator King Gibe. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, has lashed out at Senator representing the territory, Ireti Eba King Gibe. Speaking during the flag-off of the construction of the Mabushi bus terminal in Abuja, Wike said King Gibe would lose the support of FCT residents in the next election. The former Rivers State governor said it was disheartening that instead of collaborating with the FCT administration, King Gibe was instead angry that residents are reportedly praising him. Okay, from the quote, it says, I overheard somebody on Arise TV this morning. Unfortunately, I have the person is a member of the National Assembly, and it is unfortunate I say so. With all due respect, what you don't know, you don't know. What you know, you know. And the good thing for you is to tell people you don't when you don't know. Then people will educate you. The Honorable Minister of State and my humble self have not been in office for more than 11 months, and the person is angry that they are praising us. If you don't want or you are angry about that, go and hang yourself on a transformer. If you have done well, we have done well. If you haven't done well, we haven't done well. I'm proud to say that in the short time that Mr. President has appointed us, we have done well. For details, check the Daily Post. You won't return to Senate in 2027. Wike threatens FCT Senator King Gibe.
And now looking at the Nation newspaper, NAV unmanned area vehicle UAV, not helicopter, crashed in Kaduna. The Nigerian Air Force now has confirmed that one of its unmanned area vehicle UAV and not helicopter crashed in Kaduna. The UAV crashed early yesterday morning after takeoff for a mission at a location near Rumji village at about 15 kilometers from base, according to NAV spokesperson Air Vice Marshal Edward Gapwek in a statement yesterday. Edward said since it is an unmanned there was no casualties on board or on ground. He said preliminary investigation had since commenced to ascertain the cause of the crash. You can get details in the Nation newspaper with the headline NAV unmanned area vehicle UAV not helicopter crashed in Kaduna.
From the Punch newspaper, I'll take these. Dangote fuel marketers fear high price petrol ahead of supply. As premium motor spirit, also known as petrol from the Dangote petrochemical refinery, hits the local market in 2 or 3 weeks. Petroleum marketers have expressed the fear that the product's price may be higher than expected. They spoke against the backdrop of the 650,000 capacity refinery's failed attempt to get feedstock locally from the international oil companies. Dangote Refinery has continued to import crude oil from the United States and other countries at a higher cost. This development has reportedly made made its diesel and aviation fuel not very attractive to some local marketers due to price reasons. The marketers who spoke with the Punch on Monday raised concerns that the cost of importing crude oil will impact the cost of production, a development that may eventually hike the ex-depot price of the Dangote PMS. The chairman of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, has said PMS from the refinery will hit the Nigerian market by the third week of July. Marketers and Nigerians have been hopeful that the Dangote refinery will cut down the price of PMS, which jumped from around 200 naira per litre to 600 naira per litre after the removal of fuel subsidies by President Bola Tinubu on May 29, 2023. However, there are fears among stakeholders that Dangote's lack of access to local crude oil may dash Nigerians' hope of getting cheaper PMS. You can get details of that from The Punch.
And now taking some health stories in the Vanguard newspaper, WHO steps in as cholera outbreak hits Kirikiri prison in Lagos. The Lagos state government has announced additional support from the World Health Organization WHO as it grapples with a cholera outbreak at Kirikiri prison. During a recent update on the cholera outbreak in Lagos State, Commissioner for Health Professor Abayomi highlighted the successful implementation of urgent medical and environmental intervention measures. Abayomi said, and I quote, "We were able to supply Kirikiri Medium Prison with intravenous fluids, infection prevention, and other health consumables." He continued, additionally, the World Health Organization WHO has donated 10,000 doses of pharmaceuticals which have been delivered to the prison to support prison health facilities with prevention strategies for about 3,200 inmates if required. WHO steps in as cholera outbreak hits Kirikiri prison in Lagos. You can read for more in the Vanguard newspaper.
From the Nation newspaper, Southwest states frame up a food production program. Southwest governors have unfolded plans for a massive food production in the 6 states to hold the high price of staple foods. It was learned yesterday. Reminiscent on the pre-independence period and the First Republic, when agriculture was the mainstay of the regional economy, the states are to accord priority to rice, maize, cassava, and poultry farming. Also, moribund dams in the region are to be revitalized for irrigation. Last week, President Bola Tinubu had given governors 1 week to come up with a realistic template on how they intend to boost food production in their states. Investigation by the Nation revealed that governors of Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Ondo, and Ekiti states, operating under the auspices of Southwest Governors Forum, have directed the agricultural commissioners to quickly build on the plan developed during their meeting in Ibadan in May. The meeting, which was convened by the Development Agenda for Western Nigeria Dawn Commission, provided the opportunity for the states to exchange ideas on how best to increase food production in the region. You can get details from the Nation newspaper, Southwest States Farmer Food Production Program.
Okay, and now looking at the Guardian newspaper, FG no longer interested in Nigerian Air, ET affirms. Ethiopian Airlines has said the federal government is no longer interested in the proposed joint venture to birth Nigerian Air. Chief Executive Officer of Ethiopian Airlines, Mesfin Tasse, who confirmed this yesterday in Dubai, said the Nigerian government lost interest in the partnership. The announcement followed declaration by the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, describing the Nigerian Air project as a scam and therefore remains suspended. Keyamo alleged that the Nigerian Air project was nothing short of Ethiopian Airlines wanting to fly the Nigerian flag. FG no longer interested in Nigerian Air, ET affirms. You can read for more in the Guardian newspaper.
From the Daily Post newspaper, FCT Wike films over allocation of land meant for bus terminal to politician. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, on Monday filmed over the allocation of land meant for a bus terminal in the Central Business District, Abuja. Wike made the complaint at the inauguration of the construction of Mabushi Bus Terminal Phase 1 in Abuja, described the action as a gross distortion of the Abuja Master Plan. He explained that the FCT administration decided to build 3 terminals, one each in the Central Business District, Mabushi and Kubo, to ensure a secure, convenient and travel experience for commuters in the territory. He, however, said that the land designated for the bus terminal in the Central Business District, where a train track was expected to pass through, had been allocated to somebody. In his words, and I quote, "When we went there to start preparation for the inauguration project last Tuesday, I received a text that I had taken somebody's land, and I was surprised. In fact, in that text message, the person said, after his sacrifices and input to the party, is this what he will suffer? When I inquired, we found out that the place has been given out and CFO had been signed. Even consent judgment has been entered between FCTA and the person," he said. He explained that he directed that the Mabushi location should be used for the inauguration of the terminal project, pending when the issue will be resolved. The minister noted that leadership was about taking decisions, noting that in taking decisions, not everybody will be happy, but a decision must be taken. For details, you can check the Daily Post wiki fumes over allocation of land meant for bus terminal to politicians.
Okay, and now looking at some business stories in the Vanguard newspaper, how we intercepted 844 rivals, 112,500 live ammunition, others in Port Harcourt. CG Adeniyi, the Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, has narrated how the force trailed and intercepted one X40 food container MAEU 165396 from Turkey to Port Harcourt. He noted that one X40 food container was laden with 844 units of rifles, 112,500 pieces of live ammunition. Discussing this to journalists on Monday, Adeniyi lauded the Port Harcourt Area 2 Command for the role they played in intercepting and arresting the suspect involved. He commended them for the role they played in safeguarding the nation's borders and public safety. How we intercepted 844 rifles, 112,500 live ammunition, others in Port Harcourt. CG Adeniyi refused. You can get details in the Vanguard newspaper.
Okay, still from the Daily Post, Kano Emirate Tussle Group asks US to impose visa ban on Governor Yusuf. Others. A coalition of civil society organizations in Kano State under the aegis of Safe Kano Coalition has urged the United States and other members of the international community to impose visa restrictions on Governor Abba Yusuf and members of this cabinet. The coalition alleged that some actions by the government on the ongoing Kano Emirate crisis has brought divisions among citizens in the state. Daily Post recalls that the Kano State House of Assembly in June repealed the State Emirate Council Law 2019, dissolving the 5 emirates in the state. The governor, after signing the bill, sacked 5 emirs, including Ado Bayero, appointed as Emir of Kano by the former governor Abdullahi Ganduje. After sacking Bayero, Governor Yusuf reinstated former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Sanusi Lamido Sanusi II, who was dethroned in 2020 as Emir of Kano. For details, check the Daily Post. Kano Emirate Tussle Group asks US to impose visa ban on Governor Yusuf. Others.
And from the Daily Trust newspaper, stop using my name, ex-husband warns Desiani. Rear Admiral Alison Amechi Namadweke has petitioned the court for an injunction restraining his ex-wife Desiani Alison Madweke from using his first name Alison and surname Madweke following the dissolution of their marriage. He prayed the court grant an order directing the respondent, Desiani, to adopt and revert to her premarital surname, Agama, and issue publications in newspapers of national circulation in both Nigeria and the United Kingdom of a notice of her discontinuation of the use of the petitioner's first name and surname. The petition in the High Court of Lagos, suit number LD 15144HD 2024, sought that the ex-wife desist from using the petitioner's name, which poses a significant risk of legal and financial harm to the petitioner as the respondent faces criminal trials in Nigeria and UK. Stop using my name, ex-husband warns Desiani. You can read for more in the Daily Trust newspaper.
From Premium Times, no explosion at Zungeru Power Plant. Minister. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, on Monday said there was no explosion in the Zungeru Power Plant in Niger State. The The minister made this known in reaction to reports that an explosion occurred at the Zungeru Hydroelectric Dam in Niger State on Monday morning, injuring several people and affecting dam installations. In a statement Monday evening, Bolaji Tunji, Special Advisor on Strategic Communication and Media Relations to the Minister of Power, said the report of an explosion is a figment of the imagination of the purveyors of such information. Minister of Power Chief Adebayo Adelabu has refuted reports in some social media platforms that an explosion occurred at Zungeru Power on Monday. Mr. Tunji said he explained that the Zungeru Power Plant is on the grid and the plant is running at optimum capacity. From Premium Times, no explosion at Zungeru Power Plant, Minister.
Okay, let's quickly join this one before we switch to the second segment of the program. Ondo State government molds economic ties with China. Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has reiterated his commitment to further enhance the existing relationship between the state and the People's Republic of China to boost the economic fortunes of the state. Aiyedatiwa, who spoke on the mutual benefits for Nigeria and China, emphasized that the state is rich in natural and human resources. The governor advocated for an increased exchange of business ideas, particularly in technology, education, and agriculture, to help Nigeria overcome current challenges. The governor, who disclosed this yesterday while receiving the deputy mayor of the Linyi Municipal People's Government of Shandong City, China, Sun Deshi, and his team at the governor's office in Akure, the state capital, assured the delegation of maximum support. Ondo State government molds economic ties with China. You can read for more in the Guardian newspaper.
Okay, that will be it on the first segment. Shortly, we'll come back for the second segment where our analyst will shed some light on some of the stories we have taken. Stay with us.
All right, thank you very much for staying tuned. Now we're in the second segment of the program where we bring on our analyst, and our analyst today is Mr. Muyiwa Adeyanju. Good morning to you, Obayanju. Okay, I beg your pardon, Mr. Muyiwa Obayanju. Good morning to you, Mr. Muyiwa.
Good morning there. Good morning to our listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us, Engineer Obayanju, this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's begin with this story where one Labour Party chieftain told Tinubu that they needs a war cabinet to save Nigeria. What do you think it means by a war cabinet?
A world cabinet.
War.
Okay, war cabinet.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's trying to talk about the security situation of the country. And they need to have a composition of the necessary people that will be able to combat this insecurity that is virtually turning to war in Nigeria. The rate at which this war is turning again, when this thing started in about 20 years ago, it started what we are witnessing now, where you see this Boko Haram then doing this bombing of a thing, especially in the Borno side, before this escalated to every part of the country, before this cattle headers now take over, and a lot of things that we are seeing now, before we now begin to have terrorism and kidnapping and so on. But it started with Boko Haram, Western education is bad. And when Mohammed was killed then in around 99 or about 20 years ago, then the people, his followers now turn into terrorists, and they begin to terrorize people, beheading people, bombing different places until ISIS now, or they now begin to have sponsors from all these terrorist organizations of the world. So, and the cry in the eyes of every Nigerian is that government is as if subsequent governments have not been able to do anything about it. And it's been escalating and getting to a point now that is becoming serious. and it's turning to a war within a country. Because consider what happened in Borno State, where you see a woman, for that matter, an unsuspected woman with hijab and every other thing, beat all the security agencies and went to Goza and detonate that bomb and kill a lot of people. So it's getting bad. And we had a unconfirmed story, even though it has been denied. But sometimes when they deny like that, it's to protect themselves that one of the infrastructures of the power system in Nigeria was bombed, though they came back to say that no, there's nothing like that. So I think the bomb is returning now, and it's very important that the president wake up to compose, to gather together people that can be able to help him. But to me, I think that's not the solution. The solution lies within discovering the fifth columnist. The solution lies in knowing the saboteur. The solution lies in why has it escalated to this point. The solution lies in asking some questions. Now, why are these people, why is it that our intelligence organizations are not able to gather intelligence? Why is it that these people gather more intelligence, they have more information, more than our intelligence organization? Because when you look at the rate at which that woman was able to beat every security agency and get into the midst of those people, then you begin to wonder that what happens to, how is that possible? Because when a man or woman is carrying bomb, the upper part of that developed person will be so heavy. Now, but he uses hijab. But even at that, they should be able to have said that, why are you so heavy like this? Though those people that even put those bets upon him also know that can happen. And that's why they put a child on his chest to know that he's carrying a child, whereas the upper heavy is heavy. So these are some of the things. But I don't know. I still believe that until government discovers those that are sponsoring these people within the system, it is that, everything in Nigeria now is within the system. The saboteurs are within the system. Those that are benefiting from all these problems that are making it to escalate within the system. And sometimes they might be in the army, they might be politicians, because the rate at which money is going to security in Nigeria, I'm very sure that those within him will not want it to end. The rate at which people are getting money from kidnapping and they are killing children, and governments are paying 300 million, 500 million, even 1 billion, and so on and so forth. Those that are benefiting from it will not want it to stop. And that is why sometimes, Femi, when you look at the scenario, you begin to wonder. Now, some terrorist organization went to secondary school and kidnapped 300 children on bike. You can't tell me that the distance between the secondary school back into the bush will take 10 minutes or 10 seconds or 1 minute. That no reaction from anywhere. Even if somebody is taking 300 people from one place for example, from maybe Japode to Obaile. At least, if you need to contact the police barracks at Ondoro there, they should be able to respond before they take everybody out to Obaile there. So, but in a decision like this, you will find out that nothing of such. There will not be reaction. In fact, sometimes you hear that even the CCTV camera was removed. Who removed them? So the government is just playing games with some of these things, and that's why, though to me, I have not seen a very strong opposition in Nigerian politics. You can imagine if it is the other way around. APC was out opposition, and the other way, it's maybe PDP or that. It's in government. With this insecurity, they would have forced the president to retire by the opposition. But even the Labour Party, they just begin to talk. In fact, the PDP is not existent at all, and that is why it's been difficult, because nobody is putting this government on toes. Peter Obi will just come and say one or two things, composite war cabinet and those. We need strong opposition. They should be able to borrow the clue for APC the way they do the opposition, and force this government to do something about it. And the best way to do it is to first discover the people that are giving information, that are relaying secret and sensitive information to these people, so that they begin to work with intelligence, they begin to work with all these things to beat government and every other thing. Because until that, there's no way any government, this military will just be making much money from it, and this social will be making doing business with it.
All right. Mr. Obanyeju, still talking about the insecurity issue in Nigeria. There have been allegations that there are powers behind insecurity in Nigeria, and can we say that both the state and federal government are overwhelmed in the fight against insurgency? Because several times we've heard that insurgency has been defeated, Boko Haram has been defeated, terrorists have been defeated, they've been degraded, and yet these people keep operating. And it is now obvious that the way they operate, they are now operating free hand. That even the security agents, they say, okay, it was an error, or we don't see it coming, or it happened. Do you think that both state and federal government are overwhelmed in the fight against insurgency in Nigeria?
You see, sometimes when you hear federal government talk, they just talk to maybe probably to protect themselves or to cover their face, because most of the things they talk is not true. When they say that they have been saying we are defeated since about 20 years ago, and now it's still there. So which means that they have not done anything. You see, in guerrilla warfare is the most dangerous warfare to fight, especially when it has backing within the system. You see, it was Sunday Abaya that said, when you see a terrorist organization that arrives with the country and lasts more than maybe 7 days or whatever, I said there's government hands in it. And I give you an example. In Russia, in Russia, I think it did last month or last 2 months now, when some terrorist organization, about 4 of them went to a hall and they shot about 137 people. Within 24 hours, the 4 of them were arrested. So now, that is one. Because when we say insecurity, when we say terrorism, it's in everywhere. But we talk about the response time of government and ability to apprehend them as at when do and bring them to book. But the case of Nigeria, because the power that they are involved in it, the big wigs, the strong men, those that are in government and are behind it, that's why it's been difficult. Because sometimes we want to ask ourselves the questions and say, now, why is it that when these people will know when military are passing through a particular route and they will ambush them and kill all of them? Why is it that these people will go to barracks and they kill all of them and take their arms and ammunition? Why is it that they always have information about the next move of government, but the government, they do not have information about their next move? We talk about infiltration. In those days, when DSS or SSM military are those days, in those days when we don't have this type of terrorism, that what we have then is all these robbery kingpins. You will see police, you see military people go to marry them, go to befriend them. That's what is called infiltration. Infiltrate to their camp and discover who they are and arrest them. But these days, you just find out that it's been difficult. Despite all the humongous amount of money that's been spent even to procure arms and ammunition, they drop Nigerian jets. They drop anything. Now, there are questions to ask. Now, if you cut a tree by the trunk, now it's a matter of time. When there's rain, the trunk will sprout and another tree will grow. But when you want to remove a tree, remove by the root. Now, the root system of this cause of this insecurity is what government has not been able to tackle. And there are questions to ask. Number one, now in guerrilla warfare, they need serious, huge amount of money to finance it, because they will be killing them and they need to recruit. Now, to recruit more so that they are not defeated. Now, where is this money coming from? You remember, Femi, that the United Arab Emirates sent some list to Nigeria of the account they dictate of people that are sending money to Nigeria. Do you know that
Buhari government, yes.
Buhari did not do anything about it. Do you know, again, this government, they give us some names then, and these are the people they describe. Oh, I say, oh, thank God, oh, we have actually know the people that are involved. Do you know that this government did not do anything about it? Now, how do you expect now some money is going through ants, money is flying? Look at even what was the name of this man, this Binance man? That discovered that that's through the Binance they are using this foreign money to sponsor a terrorist organization. Look at Monfa. They discovered about 13 billion was routing through Monfa account. Where's Monfa today? Where's Binance? The man said he has a dick and everything, and by now I think. So now these are some of the things. Now once you know that this is one of the sources, how do you when there was NSAS at Lekki Toll Gate, federal governments are able to describe the account of each of these people and they impound it and then they seal it. But now, how do they describe the account of these people? Why is it that they've not been able to describe the account of how the money is getting through to Nigeria to this organization? That's one. Two. Now, in 1968, Awolowo was released from Ikoyi prison, and Gowon made him the Federal Commissioner of Finance. At that time, war has begun between Biafra and Nigeria. Now, when they came in, what he said was that you are fighting your enemy at the same time you are feeding them. You are giving them more power to fight you. Say, cut the food supplies to them, and that is it. And when Nigeria cut food supplies to Biafra, that is the end of the war. By 1970, they themselves surrender and say, we are no more fighting again, because they are hungry. They have ate everything in the bush. They have ate every leaf, ate every food, everything, and they surrender. Now, these people, you will see a helicopter in the bush dropping food, and they will say it's a military drill. It's this one drill. And where are they getting food? If they are hungry, they will not be able to carry AK-47 talk less of a fire any bullet from it. But they are getting adequate supply of food. They are even getting even cigarettes. They are getting everything. They are getting drugs. They banned tramadol, but they didn't ban the one supplies to them. That is number two. Number three, where are they getting arms and ammunition? Now, we have custom, we have immigration, we have everything, we have borders. Yet, sophisticated weapons, state-of-the-art machinery is coming to them that they can drop Nigerian jet, they can drop military jet. About 3 now. Now, where are these weapons coming from? Now, these are the questions. Until government sit down to answer some of these questions, they will just be playing to the gallery and they will be telling us that they have defeated it. Where are these weapons coming from? Is it in the air? Is it not from the border? Now, you have this all this cachet of AK-47 that even Amotekun cannot hold. Yet you see it in the hands of 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 15-year-old terrorists, and yet you are saying that we are mopping up small arms and light weapons. So it's just like governments are deceiving themselves, and there are systems to detect who is talking to them. Somebody is phoning them. Somebody is giving them information. Who is that person? See, until the government begin to look at some of these measures, there's no way. Guerrilla warfare. Somebody is sponsoring them. They are giving them money, and somebody is benefiting from a kidnapping. It's not when you look at an average Fulani, a kidnapper. You look at him that this person cannot have 1 million. Yet he's collecting 300 million.
All right.
Collecting 50 million.
All right.
Who
Thank
is
you.
taking the money to?
All right.
Some of the questions to be asked.
All right. So because of time, now let's talk about the economic crisis. Now, the APC chieftain said that President Tinubu needs to rejig his cabinet. He said the crop of people he has, that they are not competent enough to salvage the situation. Do you agree with what he said?
Very, 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 very well. I agree. I'm one of the people that have been campaigning that Tinubu compiled a lot of docile ministers. You see, as long as we begin to have compensationary aspect of selecting our leaders, compensationary method of aspects of selecting who lead us or ministry agents and parastatal, will not have anything. Many of them, it is Kajo. So we are the one that sponsor this government, so we must benefit from it. And the president said that these are the people that sponsor me, so I have to put them to there. Apart from the Central Bank governor, the Minister of Finance, Minister of Solid Minerals, Olubunmi Ojo from our own Ondo State here. How many of them? Even the National Security Advisor, what is it doing? Many people are just docile there. And even Matawale, how can you make Matawale the Minister of Defense? You know what happened when he was there in Zamfara State? And even are alleging that even he's the one that's sponsoring the terrorism in Zamfara State. The Matawale buried 50 cars, 50 sophisticated cars. He buried them when he doesn't know what to do with them. And that person is what will now make the Minister of Defense. What do you expect to happen after that? And look at what is happening now, and you don't even deem it fit to change them. So rejigging means that you have to look. Now, that was that time when they said they are doing a review and everything. I thought that by now they will have changed most of them. But you see, it's like some people are more powerful than Tinubu in this government. And not because they are powerful than him, but because also Tinubu is also in second term. And that has been the bane of most of our leaders in this country. Governors, local government chairmen and ministers, presidents, and all that. Because most of them, at the end of the day, you see them, all the targets 100 days in office. The first 1 year in the office, that's all. In the second year, by the third year, they start preparing for next election, and they will not do anything again. And until we have leaders that doesn't care about next election, until we have leaders that really said, I want to do one time, but I want to really work on it. I want to really make sure that even if I don't complete it, I want to set the foundation. That is then we can have a better country. So
all right, Mr.
Bayo, how can you put about 48, 49 ministers that are docile and they are taking money and they are taking everything? They have face, and yet they are not performing. I should tell them there. We have a lot of technical people that really know how to do this thing. They run pregnant now like Olubunmi Ojo, like Cardoso, like all this Minister of Finance and all that can work very well. Look at what Tunde Ojo is doing in immigration. Look at what Abalade is doing. Sorry, for the first time, apart from oil, we are now selling gold. And we're able to realize $5 million to add to our foreign account. This is that of people we have there. How many ministers of solid minerals have been there that have not been able to do anything? And they are selling this gold in Zamfara. Look at Chinese everywhere, in Ibadan, in Ife, in what's the name of the Adamawa State. Look at lithium. Look at what they are doing with lithium in Adamawa State. Until we have people that can think outside the cage, that leave politics out of it. But most of them are there to make money. Can you imagine that for the first time in the history of Nigeria, we have a multicolor national assembly, but it's the worst. I don't expect that a Labour Party member will take 160 million cards, despite they will have their campaigns before the election. I don't expect that Accord Party, Abga Party, all of them.
All right, Mr.
All of them took these cars, and yet they are talking about the president. So they are all the same. Position is the same. Their target is the money, not because they have anything to offer the country.
Let's quickly talk. Thank you so much. Let's touch some other stories. There is this story from the Punch that says that right now marketers are afraid. They have fears that even when Dangote releases petrol, the price may be high. And what would be the cost? The cost will be that Dangote is not getting crude oil from Nigeria. Dangote is having to import crude oil from abroad. Isn't that funny?
It's funny. It's appalling. It's a shame. And to me, I didn't expect Tinubu to do that. I expect Tinubu to be so twisted to this effect that the oil cabals will be able to untwist him to this effect. Now, there are some people who call them international oil company. Shell, ExxonMobil, Total F, and Chevron. All of them like that. They form themselves to conglomerate. They call themselves international oil company. Now, these are the people that are in charge of the crude, with connivance with the MD of Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Company, Akure. Now, they ensure that they stiffen anything that has to do with oil exploration and oil production in Nigeria. And that's why no refineries have been able to work. No matter how much they spend on it, they will ensure that it doesn't work. And what they do is that they were trying to make their economy work by taking our crude there. Do you know that Shell, for more than 50 years that they have been in this country, there's no one single refinery they have in Nigeria. And yet they went to Singapore and built state-of-the-art refinery that have the capacity of all their refinery put together. So now Singapore has no oil, but they went to invest in Singapore. They did not invest anything in Nigeria. And Nigeria did not say anything about that. And yet they are still in charge of all the oils in Nigeria. They have just been licensed again. So these people now, they now make sure that they didn't sell crude to Dangote. Now let's even assume that they have the prop where they are investing their money. But in every crude exploration in Nigeria, there is a share for Nigeria.
Yes,
Nigeria's
for the
own share
yes.
for the government. Where is it? Why is it that they can't sell that one to Dangote? So these are the questions. How can IOC come to Nigeria and dictate what is happening in Nigeria? Can any country? Most of the Nigerians that say they go and see what they do there. It's not like slave and second tier slave trade that they are doing there. But many of them can get good jobs. Few of them. All these professionals. But in Nigeria, you see foreigners come to Nigeria and dictate. Go to Lagos, see what the way Chinese are treating Chinese, Indians, and all this, the Lebanese. Look at the way they are treating Nigeria in Nigeria themselves. And the government could not do anything about it. And that's why IOC will stiffen Nigeria and say Dangote will not get good. So what do you expect? If it goes to import from abroad, just as we do too, then it's going to sell at the rate of international market.
All right, thank you.
What we expect that is going to make things easy for us will not be that at all.
All right,
don't forget that one aspect of the matter has just been set on fire. Just to ensure that it doesn't work too in Nigeria.
Yes.
It's
all right.
Unfortunate.
Okay, all right, Mr. Obanyanju, quickly. Wike has threatened FCT Senator Kingibe, saying that she will not return to the Senate in 2027. You're taking this, please.
In what capacity?
Forget about that. Who is he? Is he he has just one vote? How many people can he control? Is FCT Rivers State? I don't like that kind of statement. Now, are you going to conjure everybody in the FCT and say this is where to vote to? No, now it's just political statement. You just want to show that I'm still powerful, and it is done in election. Though I must balance it. Though you may know what he's talking about. You know, in Nigeria, it is politics. The politics is merchandise, especially during elections. So you may bring out a lot of money and say, give everybody 10,000 and direct them to where they are going to vote. I will not be. I don't want to totally say it's not possible. Very fully aware that one of the means to get people poor is to make them poor, so that during election, when somebody say 1,000 naira, he thinks it's 1 million naira, and he collects it and is happy, not knowing that he has said his future, just as what we.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and you for your time. We know you always have much more to say than the time can permit. Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate your presence here on the program today.
It's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
All right, the studio lines are open 08055511110 or 07066771822. Okay, you can call to give your takes on the stories we've read.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Your name? Where are you calling from?
Chief Omogude from Akure.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. I want to quickly react to the issue of Aiyedatiwa and the Chinese government supported in all those states.
Okay.
Time to time, we keep on hearing about all these things. All the time of Akure Duru, we hear that the Thailand people, the Chinese, they are here for business. But up to today, we are not seeing the benefit of those statements and whatever they came to do here. We have not seen any beneficiary about that statement. And so I think all this should not be a scam. It's not good. It should not be a way of getting people to the government or making people to have interest that this person is trying to do well. The only way we can see it is the previous one, I wish we have seen the handwork of the China and the Thailand who came to this place. When you are saying that people came there, they have an interest. I think it's a time that the government needs to be sincere to their people. God bless this station.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Okay, we have a comment here. This person said, "Good morning, Glow Cruise. Happy new month to you all. Wike has 1 vote to cast. He should stop deceiving himself for 2027. Abuja residents are the one who will represent, who knows who will represent them in National Assembly in 2027. Wike is no more relevant in Nigerian politics. Is Wike born to fight everyone? We have opposition party. It's because APC is silent on them. If it's APC that are in opposition, the whole world will know. It is well, Loruko Jesu Ami." Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel Ajogun, for your comment.
All right, so we see if you have one more call, 080-555-11110 and 080-6677-1822. That's the line to call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I am Mr. Alabi calling from Mundo State.
Go ahead, please.
Good morning. The paper read this morning about this education as the federal government inaugurates, they introduce the new council in the country. Well, those who are governing tertiary institutions in Nigeria, I think professional academics the government must work on. I think there should be ignoring to unprofessional and but making regular supervision to professional personnel. And conclusion to the collapse building in Abuja and the other states in Nigeria. I want to say that this is time that government must be developmentally thinking about the qualified personnel that can be verified, that can save this incident of collapsing. I think rescuing of this the victims in this danger are so common in the country. God bless our country. God bless Nigeria. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. God bless you too. Okay, we have to go here. Thank you very much for being part of today's edition on Issues in the Dailies. Tomorrow is another time when we meet, same time, same station. Till then, please don't do anything that will stay your reputation. Remember, you've got a name to protect. So I'm saying God bless you, God bless us, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. My name is Miracle Ogune. Do have a wonderful day.
All right, Mr. Reputation, we won't. My name is Femi Mane. Thanks so much for being with us. Have a wonderful day ahead.